What's up YouTube? And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different from anything we've done on the channel. Now, obviously, you've seen my pack openings for Dragon Ball Super, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a market watch and what will have influenced all these price changes on a lot of the cards. What you can see on the screen at the moment is a bit of data, well I say a bit, quite a bit of data that Eggman has put together. So big shout out to him for doing that, and also for making it public for other people to actually get their hands on and use. So you can actually go through the lists and you can see for yourselves on what points why certain cards are going to change price. Now to kick things off, we're actually not going to be looking at draft box cards. We're actually going to be looking at the signed cards. Now, every so often, these cards do spike in price. For those of you that aren't collectors, my advice to you is I wouldn't actually purchase these, because what tends to happen is you'll see with the older ones, they do tend to come down again. Every so often, as I said, there's a bit of a spike. For whatever reason it is, people decide they want to get signed cards and then they shoot up. As you can see, Trunks is not only on Card Market but eBay, sitting at quite high value. However, if you check eBay completed listings, I imagine, say, 26th of July, and that one struggled to sell for £50. So, with these, I'd hold out on going out and spending loads of money, and the same for all of them. So let's cancel this off and cancel this off. To go on, €170, so what, 150 quid? You go over to eBay, and them sitting at like £250 buy it now, which is a lot. Especially for a card that isn't played. So here you go. That same best offer, however, this, I'm not sure if there's anything special about this one, and if you look at the dates, they are quite old dates too. The most recent one sold for 150, which is about right to what it is on Card Market. But again, you know, if you go back a week before, only £80, £90, it's 800 including postage. So again, obviously, if you are a big collector and you must have them right now, obviously it's your money to go ahead, spend what you want to spend on them. But my advice is I would personally wait. So it hits €120, £200, the only one on there right now. But then again, as you can see, 125. If you look, the trick with when searching for cards on eBay is not everyone spells the names correctly. So you can also grab a bargain if you do look for things like that. Again, let's just double check completed and sold. So again, another one. Obviously that was the 1st of June. But then if you look at the most recent one that was in the States, a best offer. So although it's saying £70 there, that could have been as low as 60. So yeah, definitely wait on these. And then finally, the Vegito Blue. Now, Vegito Blue might be the tiny bit of an exception right now, because with all the new Vegito stuff coming out, this guy has obviously seen a little bit of a pushing price just because of that. So all those people that like to bling out the decks and have max rarity might actually want these. So this is the only exception that might have a substantial price in comparison. That being said, if you're not a nut and you do just want to play the deck without having max rarity, you can see the difference in price. Say, and just check completed. Say at the start of the month, before the support was even announced, 65, 80, 80. Right now, where they are, all without a shadow of a doubt, all 4 of these signed cards way too expensive. And I believe if we go to singles, just in general, and if we can search more filter options, now I wonder if they come up in this. So these V4s are the foreign ones. So for some reason, Italian, French, and whatever languages get printed on, they get the same artwork as, but then they don't get the signature. That being said, what we want to look at actually are those from, here we go, Theme Booster 01. So as you can see, never mind, I take back everything I've said. If you are an avid collector, I'd buy them now while you can. Just because of the sheer fact that €300, now is this the same on eBay? Just let's have a quick look. Just to make sure that it's not just people having crazy amounts on card market. So nothing's coming up like that. Just let's check completed. See, and there's the difference actually. Now I know these are quite a few older sellings, and this one's, but I think them a little bit cheaper on eBay. So actually, as everyone I said about the signed cards at the start, about not buying them. If you've got the money, you're a collector, buy them, because I imagine you don't want to be spending this stupid amount of money on them at a later date. On the flip side of things, if you're not a collector and you've got these and you want to make a big buck, you are going to get a substantial return on them now from what you paid on them, because I remember back when they first come out and they were only £50-60 at a push. That being said, what's this picture of? Never mind. That being said, to the average Joe that isn't a collector, I wouldn't bother. So let's get into the actual meat of it now. So the secrets, this guy is completely shot up. Currently, because of the online formats that are taking place, and most of them are the best of ones, and a lot of people are quite happy to play Invoker for the best of one matches. So this guy's, as you can see, shot up in price just by looking at the graph. He dipped so much at one point, but then now he's starting to see more play, spiking back up, and the trend is the same on eBay. As you can see, obviously this is a graded one, that's why it's got the silly price tag, but the only one currently on eBay, and it is from America, close to £700, and I believe if you check sold, you know, they are selling a lot more. It's like, even then, $250. Obviously they're best offers, so that one isn't. So they are selling quite high. Now the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, obviously at first when all these secrets come out, they weren't overpriced, and everyone thought they'd sit around €150, I guess, so about £120, £130 mark. Now, because a lot of people are running this guy as opposed to running Xenocell, just because he's a cheaper option, he has seen a price influx, and he is the only one out of the 3 new secrets that actually holds a price tag above the €100 mark, I believe. And the same applies to on eBay, as you can see, 160, 190. So now, whether them selling for, obviously we'll check now. As you can see, they are selling for that. So my advice is, if you do want one and you can't afford to sell, go through. He is a great card. The only problem that Gogeta has that Cell doesn't is Gogeta locks you out of your own cards. So it's more of a balls to the wall, and if you drop him, you have to win that turn. Because if not, your opponent can just bait. When I say bait, stall you out, I guess, with negates. Because actually, having the only him on the board and your leader, you will then struggle next turn to put the pressure back on. Next is an interesting pick that I've gone for, just because this guy, again, because of the Geosport coming out, he has seen a price hike. As you can see, €100, the cheapest English print one. And then on eBay, 125 pack, 110. So, that being said, these are definitely not worth it. They've only gone up because of the hype. And so unless the deck comes out and it proves to be the best thing since sliced bread, these will sit back to where they used to be. And if you look, it's more realistic, like £50. Even like PSA 9s, I'm only going for like 80. So, and even then, if you look, even during the hype, some have sold in the States only for the £90. Honestly, not worth buying. I'd wait for these to come back down in price. Next, we've got the Great 8 Mass Primal Charge thing from Rise of the Unison Warrior. Now, as I said, this guy's interesting because actually he's not a bad card, it's just that he's not amazing neither. So, and unfortunately, because he's generic, although when I say generic, he's not themed, so he can just go in basically green, but he's not, say, like Future themed or whatever, or Mill themed, or if you know what I mean, like, or like how Victory Strikes morphs or what it is. This guy you can just put in any green deck and he'll work. The problem with him is there are cards like Black Smoke and the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that are doing better, that are just better at the job than what he is. So this guy, again, sitting €84, 85. Personally, I wouldn't buy him. I'd wait to come down a little bit more if you want one. And even on eBay, them a little bit more. But what I've seemed to notice just by checking all these prices, eBay does seem to be a little bit slower on the uptake. Now that can actually work. Clicked on the wrong. That can actually work. Keep clicking on the wrong one. So sold items. That does work to disadvantage as well. To your advantage as well. Sorry, because there are certain cards that I've seen over the past week or so that have been more expensive on Card Market than they have been on eBay. So sometimes you can pick up a better deal on eBay because they are a little bit slower to catch on. Again, the go tanks, as you can see, only €84. So another cheap one, and there are plenty below the €100 threshold. Can't really comment on about it because I've not personally looked at the deck lists myself to see exactly if people were running this, but I imagine they weren't. Just purely because, as I said, there are better generic secrets that seem to be doing what they can do just better. So in this situation, the cheapest Gotenks, so votes on bids, and there's a couple of days left. He is only at the 82 mark, and then they have been selling for. So, cheapest one and the most recent sold for 100, and then even in the States, say 100, 110 because of postage. Again, not worth it personally. I'd wait for them to come down like the set 8 secrets did. And I say set 8 specifically because the set 9 ones have all shot back up crazily. As you can see with Salzano, which is an interesting one because personally I think Salzano is one of the better secrets that they've printed. And as you can see, he's roughly sitting between the 190 to 220 mark. There are a few that have got a substantial price tag to him, but in all reality, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sitting here. So it's safe to say you're looking €200 for a sale on average. Whereas on eBay, 350, 310, which is well overpriced if you compare it to Card Market. And what they've been selling for, well, as you can see, well, this was quite old actually. What they've been selling for in America. So 10 out of 10. So that's a grade 10. See, a grade 10 one only sold for 312. So it's a bit hard to warrant paying 400 on one that's not graded 10. And then even here, buying out 170, say 180. And that was 4 days ago. Soul's definitely a good card, but right now we do have a budget option in Gogeta. Although if you can pick them up for around this price, even say 150, they're definitely better picking up than the Gogetas, in my honest opinion. But the decks that are running Gogeta. Now this is the one that surprised me. As you can see, all the foreign ones they cap out at €130. Then drastically, the first English one / cheapest English one, €250. Now, what I do like this card because it's got many applications, it's versatile, you can use it what you want to use it in. But the thing that I will say about it is, at one point these were £80. So, what's tend to happen, and Eggman does go over it a bit more in his video, with these online tournaments, you're required to actually have the cards to use them in your deck lists, and you have to take a picture. So, what seems to have been happening is because cards like the Black Smoke, and even say the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because they were less hype pulls, what they've done, because they just wanted to put a secret in the deck that's playable, people have been playing Black Smoke more, they've been playing Gogeta, so it has increased the price on the cards, which is good, because again, both the cards are good cards, but I would never have thought that I'd have seen Black Smoke worth more than Zen SL. So we've covered, and again, if you look on eBay, if I actually check non-sold listings, there's none listed on eBay. Like, all I get is some cool sunglasses and some other random stuff. If I check the sold listings, as you saw, which was the page I was on previously, £100, £70. Obviously, this is a bit of an older listing, but even if you take into consideration the weekend, 105. So this is a before, this is an after. Not much difference. That being said, the price on Card Market is crazy. So this is one, if you do want to pick one up, I'd definitely be looking out for one to go on eBay cheap. Because even if you used to buy one on eBay now for say £100, for what they are on Card Market, you can make a tidy profit just by whacking it on for a small profit. So, whacking one on for 150, still better than everyone on there. So next we'll get onto the draft box stuff. Now, the thing with the draft box stuff, it's a bit awkward because a lot of the cards from draft box 1 are getting reprinted. Well, a lot of the more sought after cards are getting reprinted, such as obviously the Goku, in fact I say the Goku, there's Gokus because obviously there's UI as well. We've got the 2 monkeys, Goku and Toppo. So this Goku, the end of the week, will have been reprinted for everyone because everywhere's going to have had, or will have started to have run their Rise of the Unison Warrior tournaments, or store champions, which gives out the 2020 packs, which obviously has this as a reprint. So while we won't see a great deal of these flooded into the market just yet, we will see more. My advice to you is, if you don't care about what language, I would pick up the French ones. It's just that the card does the exact same thing and they're legal. I'm not sure why anyone would pay twice the price for a card, unless it's for collection purposes obviously, so it has to be English, which that is something I do respect. But if you're using it for playing, I can't see why you wouldn't just buy a French one or an Italian one if the Italian ones are the same price. Like, if you look, the cheapest English one is €70. So you could buy two French ones for the price of an English one. If you to buy both those English ones, you could buy 4 French ones and be done with it. This might actually change when the reprint comes out. However, because this card just seems to be played in anything and everything right now, I think it's getting less and less likely that we're going to see this card come down anytime soon. If anything, it's probably just going to get higher and higher because more people are going to have access to it, more people are going to play it. It's going to drive the price up because the more people that play it, the more people that want it, and all that stuff. So, I'll just leave the phone call, it's cut all the stuff off. So, back to where we were. Basically, yeah, as I was saying, if you want to play them, French ones are the way forward. Collectors, get your English ones now because they're just going to keep going up and up and up in price. It's all we've seen. So, you might as well just spend it now. For those that don't want French ones, but don't want to spend the €70 on what we've got now, I'd perhaps give it a couple of weeks and just see how it reflects when we get these 2020 ones, because as it stands, we don't really know what's going to happen. They could be short printed, so we could not see as many. They could be mass printed, so everybody gets one, which then obviously will change the price. But even eBay for these is crazy. So next we'll move on to the Bardock. This one's a bit more interesting, just because obviously you can pick up French ones for cheap, but even the English ones, it's kind of the same balance where you can buy 2 French for the price of an English. That being said, these are in the anniversary box, so I do not see the point whatsoever in picking up French ones because the product as a whole, the anniversary box, because of what's in it guaranteed and what you get additionally, if it's anything like how the Senzu beans and everything else, like the Nimbuses, you will get play sets of commons of these easy enough. And unfortunately, although everyone would probably like the nice shiny ones, I think a lot of people would prefer having an English copy that's common than a French copy that's shiny. So there's not much to say on them. eBay, as you can see, there's none really been up. So this one sold for 45. Again, I don't think that's a smart buy, but I guess if you're that desperate for a card, you'll spend it. The same applies to the Ultra Instincts. Now, as you can see, a hell of a lot of threat. The cheapest English one's 27, but then the next cheapest one is 35. It's very expensive for what it is. eBay's got one for 31 with postage from the States. It's sold 21, 20s. I wouldn't advise anyone to buy these right now. Anything that's in the anniversary box, I just wouldn't buy it. Not unless it's like an absolute steal. So I'll move on from that. And then the Topo, again, I cannot stress this so much. £8 for a common is a lot. That being said, with the Topo, obviously because he's still only going to be a common unless you pull a foil version, I'd be hesitant on going into it thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to get a playset of Topo. But that still being said, you'll probably find, depending on how rare they are when it comes out of the anniversary box, these prices will fluctuate. Now, obviously it doesn't do people any good right now, but if you can wait for anything, because of obviously with what's going on in the global crisis, and if you can't play, what's the point in having the cards? Unless you're a collector. So, we'll move on to draft box 2, which is, the first one we got is Rubrian. This one's crazy. It really is. It's basically the equivalent of the Goku that draws, in my eyes. I've picked up 2 myself recently for £90, which was a bit more than I wanted to spend on them, but I bit the bullet because all these seem to do is go up in price. Every list I've ever seen Stu playing green plays them. We got Dredgeco, so we've got the cell that Eggman played as well, and the Word of Freeze hand control build, and they can also be played in any hand control because he's just built for it. So with these being what they are, while I'm not going to say €47 is a steal, I think if you leave it too long, it's going to end up like the Goku. So my advice is, if you want these, I'd pick these up now. So if we go and check on eBay, like you're looking at £80. Hell, there's even a one like if it's got 4 watches from America that's creased, and so if it's got 4 watches and people are watching it, they must be thinking maybe this seller leave it a bit long, it might drop the price a bit more. So, and look, even on sold listings, 55 best offer, 42. Obviously these are a bit older, but pardon me. Yeah, we've got 2 Rib Brown and the Cocoon, sir. Pardon me. Now the Cocoon says they're like 15 quid. So if you say Cocoon says 15 quid, that's putting the Rib Brands at what, 70 quid each if you include the postage. That's nuts. So I'd personally pick these if you can afford them and you want them. I'd pick these up now. I can't stress that enough. Bergamo. Now I sold one myself recently for £30. This was at the end of last week, and these themselves are continually going up. For me, I've not looked into the yellow decks too much, so I can't say whether they're good, bad. Obviously, if people are buying them, they must be needed. And again, these are slowly creeping up, and the same applies to on eBay. In fact, on eBay, they're a hell of a lot more expensive. So let's see, just see if they've been selling. So if you look, so these in June listings, the Crystal went for 27. So I don't know, maybe card market's a bit off with these. I said the best thing to do is I'd check the deck lists of what have been top in, and make your own assumption from there with these. This guy, Abone, he just doesn't want to make his mind up. I spoke to someone a couple of weeks back, but it was after some, and when I looked at everywhere, they're about 20 quid. And then in the space of oh pardon me, I've got really bad dry throat. In the space of like 2 weeks, because obviously everything that's playing blue is using these, they've gone back up in price. So, and that applies to in fact the only one on eBay is 45. So what I'd watch it with it, say 35, 30. They do spike and peak and trough and whatever you want to call it. They do go up and down. The only thing I can advise with these is I'd wait for them to come back down a bit more. I'm not saying they're not a good card, but this is one that seems to go up, come back down for a week or so, then spike back up again. So with these, there's definitely going to be an opportunity to pick them up for cheap, which is when I'd buy them personally. This guy and the next card I'm going to cover weren't originally on the list, but I've added them in because it's quite interesting. We had the Boo support announced, and as you can see, look what it's done to this guy. They were €5 at the start of last week. In fact, they were even €5 at the end of last week. They're now €17 a pop. And if you check eBay, eBay's followed suit. So, I don't really know what else to say on them, other than the card's good now, I guess, or theoretically good. So if you've got them thinking, oh, these are crap, at least now you've got a bit of solace knowing they've gone up in price. And the same actually applies to this card too. As you can see on the bell curve there, whoosh, they were nothing. Even the English ones are that much. and now all of a sudden they've gone up to this. eBay's a bit different than that. Well, there you go. And I believe that is an English one. Is that English? I don't know. That's a French one, so you can ignore that price because that's expensive for a French one. And that one's also a French, so no. The only English one, $7.50. But if you check the sold items, there you go. They were selling for like a £5, and now they've pretty much doubled in price because they were used over the weekend. Now there are a few other cards I wanted to cover while I'm here, namely from Rise of Unison Warrior. We can see a lot of the cards now have tanked completely. I can't explain why. Mexican Burrows are expensive. Again, it's yellow. I haven't looked into anything yellow. That's my excuse. However, as you can see, cheapest one now is €23. I can say, as of recording this video, I sold one for £19 this morning, last night. So, they are selling for that too. If we get eBay up, let's get him up. I believe they are a little bit cheaper on eBay, but it'll be interesting to see if eBay have gotten done. So yeah, however, these are both only bids. If you check sold, I'm pretty sure it's still about the same. No, 15 sold. So they are slowly creeping up on eBay too. Then the other one is, which I've seen on the Facebook group this morning, but the post was last night. Born with a Bunny Girl. These last week, again, as you can see, €6 cards, $5.83 it's got there. Them now €15. Obviously, it's because of previous weekend, but I haven't actually checked eBay on these. I'm not sure if they've gone up. So this is still undersold, but you can see what they were selling for. And this is literally a couple of days back. So this is after the tournament results were published. So now, even now on eBay, you can buy them £10, $13. Obviously that one's a bit much. But if you base it on what these are, again, they've gone up. Now I plan on doing one of these every month or so. It will just depend on how stuff is. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, give me a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If there's anything that you feel that I've said that you don't agree with, I'm more than happy to listen to what you've got to say, and obviously have a discussion about it. If there's other cards that you'd like me to cover, including, I guess, things like starter decks or more like promo cards, that is something else I don't mind looking into. And from there, I'd like to say, as I said, hope you enjoyed watching. And if you have, leave a like, subscribe, share, do all the good stuff. I do other content. There's Dragon Ball pack openings. I play a couple of mobile games. I'm currently doing The Last of Us Part 2 playthrough. And that is something that I am streaming over on Twitch daily. All the links to my channels, social medias, all that jazz are on my profile. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed. Cake Easy, signing out.